Talking to Death is released every Friday and brought to you absolutely free. But if you want ad-free listening and exclusive bonuses, subscribe to Tenderfoot Plus at tenderfootplus.com or on Apple Podcasts.
Welcome back to Talking to Death. This week, we have a very fun guest, a host of a true crime podcast. Danny Murphy is both a podcaster and a comedian. He's the host of Not Another True Crime podcast, where he and his co-host banter on both current and old true crime cases. He also hosts another podcast for the New York Post called Virtual Reali-Teas, where he covers the latest in celebrity gossip and entertainment news. His ability to connect with guests and listeners alike has garnered him a loyal following and solidified his reputation as a talented entertainer and insightful commentator. This episode is a really fun one, and you don't want to miss it. Let's jump into it. This week, Danny Murphy.
I do like to talk a lot. You talk so much too. I know, but this is a fun. I'm excited.
I think the difference is that it exhausts the hell out of me at some point.
You do get to, that's almost where like the fun starts, because you start to like lose your mind a little bit.
Right.
And then when you forget what you say, hopefully for the most time it's great.
But you have to be an extrovert.
I do like to be extroverted, yes.
Okay.
But then it gets to a certain point, but then like I have my limit, and then I just immediately call an Uber. Like I don't try to push it past a...
What's that test? Is like I'm an extroverted introvert is what I've discovered. The INFP, I don't...
But I feel like every person who takes that test gets that answer. And I think it's just because people...
Also, yeah, you're probably right.
Because people are like, no, I like friends, but I like to sleep.
I think people are just lazy.
I know. No, exactly.
Yeah, that's just like, oh yeah, like I want to do it, but like I can't.
That's the hard thing.
Because like my personality.
Yeah, and then you blame it on that. Yeah, you're like, no, a doctor told me I can't.
I want to talk to you about why you like talking about true crime.
Oh.
Why? Why do you like it so much?
I am fascinated. Well, I feel, and with my podcast, Not Another True Crime podcast with Sarah, we've changed this year into talking more about because our interest has kind of grown together in a different way, because we've really started in like a pop culture space, and then we fell into true crime just because it's so captivating, the stories and all the details and like the emotions that come with it. It's really hard not to like hear a story and not have it leave an imprint on you.
Yeah, of course.
And then from there, we started to get to a point, but I feel like this must be so hard for you, where after a while for us, it really just like took a toll on us.
Okay. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So we were just kind of like because we would do different cases every week, like a weekly podcast of us talking about it and unpacking it. And then and so many of the ones that get covered, a lot of them are either unanswered or things, there's not a lot of information, or it's so much of it because we're not investigating, diving deep into them, to kind of just telling our audience what is the situation with them.
It's mostly just a sad tale.
Yeah, a sad tale of being like, all right, so there's no answers, or this is where a system failed somebody, and then thanks for listening.
Right.
And then it kind of just got to a point where I was just like, are you feeling like burnt out in an emotional way? And she was like, yeah. And just because we were getting to a point where, because like we love what you've been doing so much of, like going and like specializing in things and helping people out and just bringing awareness to it, where we were like, we're not doing that, but we're talking every week. So we've kind of shifted into more like scams and white collar crimes and everything like it, because least like for those, at least we're kind of like, okay, well, like rich people just got fucked up, and then like they're still, at the end of the day, they're still
rich and fuck them anyways.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of what we've been like going into, and then kind of realizing like where our forte on like with people with fingers on the pulse come into play, where it's like more newsier updates and things like that, because we're giving people information, because like maybe our audience isn't going to like CNN or NBC News every day or every week, but we're checking that stuff out and kind of making it digestible for them in a way where we both feel good about the final product we put out, but also like are not drained at the end of it.
It's interesting that you mentioned the whole burnout sort of aspect of talking about crimes like that all the time. I feel like, doing Up and Vanish and doing the investigative stuff too, you get the same thing, right? And I mean, Mike here has been on most of these journeys with me at this point, and you kind of eventually just sort of lose yourself in it.
Yeah.
And the way that we stay sane is just totally dark gallows humor type shit, where it's like it's so bad to us in this, like, not to us, like hard, but bad stuff all around.
Oh,
that it's just, you got to say something to yourself or you're going to lose your mind.
I feel that is just like that's been like my coping mechanism to my entire life. Just like laughing at you're just like, well, everything is awful and it's hell. Where I'm like, well, I can either laugh or cry, and like nothing changes after that. So I guess I'll have a good time, and like I'll laugh until I cry. I'll just cry myself to sleep at night when it's all time.
Were you like this in high school? You seem like you've been the same person your whole life.
I have, for better or for worse, I have not changed.
Okay.
A single second.
I bet you look this. I bet your first grade yearbook picture looks like your same face, and you were probably saying the same shit.
I would say same face, add like maybe 75 pounds and a lot of acne.
In first grade?
Maybe first grade, actually, I looked amazing. I don't know what my diet was.
If I had my first grade body back.
The way, like, I'm like, should I go back to Lunchables? Like, I feel like they're so processed, but maybe.
I never didn't go away from Lunchables. As an adult, they're kind of cooler.
Oh, I don't cook, but I just am increasingly on diet, so I don't know if they like correlate with all my dieting. But that I feel like first grade me was mainly like, I feel like also because I loved like, whenever I was like with like kids, I'd be like, these people are kind of boring as shit. So I'd always want to talk to like the teachers or like the secretary. And I would.
Oh yeah, the teachers always loved you.
Yes.
They hated my ass. 'Cause I was like weird enough for they're like, either they'd love me or they're like, look out for that one. And I'm like, I'm not one of those, though, but.
Because I'd be like, oh, you're still getting a C, but you have a heart of gold. Like,
you were the one who was like grading papers for the teachers. No.
Did
you ever have that? Because I had that, and I'm pretty sure they fucked around on my shit. Like
a kid did it.
There was like two teachers' pets.
Oh yeah.
And they were grading papers.
No.
I was like, are you allowed to do that? I don't even know.
Their grading papers are sitting.
I still passed fourth grade or whatever it was.
One of those things I was like, I have a college degree. No one asked me for it once, so I like, why did I go to school? But no, I like would just like do to the teachers. I'd be like, I would just be so nosy, being like, so what do you do after school? Or like, so like, who's your friends? Like, I would just be really inquisitive in that way. And it was also bad because like I was in like middle school in like sixth and seventh grade. It was like 2006, 2007. So like teachers had like Facebook, so I'd be able to like find their Facebooks and be like, oh my God, you're so cool. Like type of stuff like that, which is very.
I enjoy watching all your stuff on social media. You're always cracking me up. I love the thing that you do with the drink. It's so stupid that and it's so fucking funny that it gets me every single time. Like, I feel like those are probably always inspired by some true story, or you're like, I remember that margarita or whatever it was, right?
It's like, I'm like, because that's where it's the thing, like with the dark humor, just like them making fun of myself so much. And I feel like it's like where I'm like, because I think you can go in a few directions where people have like such pride of themselves where they want to be like an impenetrable force field. But I feel like I want to be the opposite, where I'm like, I'm just like so fucking stupid. And I like almost to the point where I don't care if someone like insults me. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, I'll live. Like, so then I just feel like it's a fun way to make fun of myself and also kind of engage in a way just to be take everything a little less seriously, which is nice.
Did you ever see yourself being a podcaster professionally in any capacity at all? Or like, is that something you wanted to do, or did you end up here? I mean, you're great at it. I was curious.
I appreciate that. I feel I always wanted to be like a conversationalist type person and like host and stuff like that ever since I was kind of like younger and in high school and college. And then it was just always so hard where I feel like, because when I was even like in college and the podcasting wasn't really a thing, like nobody, it wasn't like a word, like we weren't learning it.
It definitely wasn't cool.
It wasn't cool, no. And I feel like so much of it was just like
podcasts, like
news or random stuff that I was like, this feels like very like stuff I don't understand.
Yeah, like I'm not smart enough to do this. Yeah,
exactly. And I'm like, I don't know how anything works. My brain shuts off at the second of anything like that. So I'm like, I have no skills for any of it. But then I got like an internship at SiriusXM, and I started to like do more talking on microphones there, which really made me like, oh, I love like the format of radio, but that's always like such a tricky beast now because like podcasting is kind of making its own lane as that. So then, So then I kind of like fell into, when I realized what podcasting was doing, I was like, oh, I really do want to do that, but I don't know how to do it. So then I just kind of like clawed my way to finding out how to do that.
That's amazing. I mean, I ended up here the same way. I just decided to do something different one time, and if it didn't work, I was going to do something again. I was going to do something else.
Yeah.
And I always had this weird imposter syndrome for a long time, and I've shaken it off for the most part, but not entirely. Because I was looking at radio people and people who do podcasts, like this is their lane. They do this. I identified as this filmmaker person. Not that I had any big director credits under my name, but like that's just how I viewed myself. And I felt like I was just pretending or lying if I was just like, oh, I do this now. So I was very open about that. And like even from episode 1, because I was like, hey, like I'm not like, I am who I am. But anyways, I am doing this.
No, exactly. And I feel that's almost a good, because of course, imposter syndrome is just everywhere. But so much of it, I think what you were just saying, it comes from like a respect of the people before you doing it.
It was really more of that.
Yeah, where you kind of want to be like, oh, fuck. I'm like, if they, like, I don't want them to think that I'm like them. Yeah. And what helped me with that is like, because very recently, I was inspired because I went to see Beyonce's Renaissance tour twice.
You went to where?
Beyonce's Renaissance tour.
Oh, well, was it amazing?
It was so good.
Fucking really amazing.
It was so fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And then I was just, and it shook my imposter syndrome a little bit.
You went twice?
I know.
You weren't even playing around.
Not playing around. 2 days in a row. Well, first, because I flew across the country for it to go in LA because I couldn't in her New York dates. And my friend got us like, for her birthday, just like the first tickets we could get, like nosebleeds. And I kind of was in a moment, I was like, oh, we're flying across the country. Guys, I'm going to have to go on Ticketmaster and see how we can elevate. I was like, how would Beyonce see herself? So then I got us floor seats. So we got to experience it from both sides.
Damn.
Very beautiful.
Balled out like that. You're like, all right, cool. We're doing it for real.
Yes. But then after that, when I was watching her, I was like, well, what if I want Beyonce never to be embarrassed of me if she does not know who I am? But I would be like, so that's where I went after it. I bought a new pair of sunglasses because she has that brand. And I was like, okay. And then it kind of makes me go
you
to
just dressed up like Beyonce?
Not the latex. I'm
but
a
like you're gonna
boy.
like give Beyonce.
Yes. We'll try to be like,
That's
what?
pretty cool.
Or 1/8 of her. Because that's
I guess dudes do that at football games. They're wearing like damn near an entire uniform, like they play for the
and I'm like,
fucking
go
team.
on the field. And they're like, pastor drunk. I'm like, this is sad.
You know what annoys me, which shouldn't annoy me as much as it does,
Let's hear it.
is if you go to a sporting event, let's just say the Brooklyn Nets, since we're close to that, and they're wearing like a Dallas Cowboys uniform. Like they're just wearing something with a sport on it.
Okay.
I'm like, and that's fine. Do whatever you want to do. But I'm like, why are you generalizing it so much?
I would say maybe
like, we're going to a sporting event. Let's wear sports stuff.
I could feel, because I know no sports teams. If someone invited me to go to a game, I'd be like, how do I dress the part?
You're like, well, I do have this one thing that says,
yeah, I'm like,
it's like, hey, no, they don't have that team anymore because it was a bad name.
Oh, no, true. Yeah.
Cool looking shirt, but you can't wear that anymore.
It's ironic.
Yeah,
in Brooklyn.
but if you think about it, yeah.
Wait, are you a big sports person?
I mean, I'm not like a huge sports person, but growing up, I was an Atlanta sports guy. I watched the Atlanta Falcons and the Hawks.
Are you a shouting at the screen type of person? Is that like because where do you let out your like your feelings and vibes? Because a lot of people I know will shout at a screen once every Sunday for 2 hours.
I have this really good method that I've figured out. Actually, I just keep it all bottled in forever.
Carbonation.
Yeah. So I think I used to be the guy who was like, what the fuck, man? I'm so just defeated at this point. Once the Falcons lost that Super Bowl, which even if you don't even know sports, you know what I'm talking about. Boo-hoo me. But like, I went through, oh, wow, we won for the first time. Because there's no way they're coming. Maybe it would be, I was like looking on Wikipedia, like, this would be a record.
Ooh.
And well, it was. So... and we've like sucked ever since. And now I'm just a casual sports guy. Let's go catch a game. But
now you can look. You had that beautiful moment.
Wait, was it
not beautiful? They won or didn't win?
Oh no, you kidding me?
You said every person, not even a sports fan. No, and I've just
well.
Oh, was this Deflategate or was that
this?
Something else? I'm trying.
It might have been the same year as that.
Okay.
It was It was the Patriots versus the Falcons Super Bowl. We were up 28-3. With like 3 minutes left in the third quarter. And so like mathematically, it was the closest to like everything had to go right. So I was like, we got this. And then it was just the craziest. Like if you were a Patriots fan, you'd been like, this.
You would have left already.
This is no, or you left, or you've been like, this is amazing. Are we gonna do this? And I was like, there's no way they're gonna do this.
No.
Anyways, I'm not that deep into sports because it's just not worth my emotion.
And it's also you just have to laugh. Giselle and him divorced.
I mean,
he's looking interesting in Miami. You're fine. Everyone's fine.
Yeah, he's fine. Yeah.
And everyone else, because like now it's like he kept trying to chase that.
If Tom Brady DM'd you and was like, yo, like, let's hang.
I would. Yeah.
I'd be like, let's go.
When I'd be like, sorry for everything going on. Like,
you're Tom Brady.
Yeah.
I don't, yeah.
And I want to know if he's like Botoxing because his face is looking very different this time around. And I love
like just stop
I love
aging.
Procedures, but yes, he did stop aging.
Have you done any procedures? Are you allowed to ask that question?
Yeah. I haven't. I'm just so curious about it, but I feel like I don't want
or haven't?
I haven't.
Okay.
I am always so curious about it, and people who I know get like a Botox or something like that.
Yeah.
They do look so good.
Yeah.
But that would be as far as I would go because my brother's a doctor and he's very against anybody getting elective surgeries.
Right.
Or against he's just like
unless you have a scar on your face and you're getting rid of it or something.
Because then that's like less. It's more like the elective surgery where it's like I want like my lips to be bigger or like something else. Where he's like, it's a surgery because I feel people forget that that's also a procedure. But with that to say, I would be very curious about like a Botox moment.
I would totally entertain the Botox thing, and I'm such a caveman that I wish that there was just a sexier app that was like Botox for dudes.
Ooh.
Like, not that it needs to be necessarily catered to me, but just like I don't understand it.
It's confusing because then it's like you get to, like the gowns.
Dumb it down for us because like I'm willing to spend some money if I knew what the hell was going on.
My favorite thing is to spend money I don't really understand a full thing on.
Right?
That I think will change.
There's shit I spend money on that I don't know what it is.
Yeah. That honestly is a good market because I feel it's always like my favorite is now like all the vitamins for men and everything, which is or like that's when you look at the back of the box.
It's gotta be kind of cool though. It can't be like dude wipes. Yeah. Like you know, it's gotta be like higher brow than that. Where it feels like
you don't want like broke
men's skincare vibes, but like we know what wrinkles guys get or whatever, and you can just hit the app and your face is different.
Wait, that's exactly. It would be like the commercial would be like a guy like doing lawn work in the sun, and it's just like little wrinkles there instead of like him coming to terms with aging. Yeah,
make it so accessible that every uncle's doing it everywhere.
That'd be very fun.
Because you do have a true crime podcast called Not Another True Crime Podcast. Also, I'm pretty sure I understand why it's called that, but can you tell me why it's called that?
So it's called that for a few reasons. One is that it's not like the irony of there's so many true crime podcasts out there, but also we're not another one because kind of like I was saying, we're not diving super, super deep into all the stuff that you might want to know. And we wanted to put that almost as a disclaimer to people listening. Cause like as people right now, I don't have like the good like 60 minutes voice of anything like that. And Sarah doesn't either. So we're kind of talking and like, we'll start about our day and everything, then go into everything. And they're like, why are you bullshitting about their day before? And I'm like, cause we said we're not like, this is what the cards are on the table.
We already told you what this shit was.
Yeah. Like, honey, like calm the fuck down. And it's like the review. I'm like, please I would rather you just be like, I fucking hate these people and just stop listening. Cause I'm like, we're not going to change.
That always amazes me.
Yeah. I've never felt inclined. I haven't even left a bad Google review of anything. Someone I don't like.
If you're someone who leaves reviews, you're sus. Unless you're just genuinely supporting because you were either asked to or you loved it that much.
And there have been sometimes either with a podcast where I'm just like, you know what, this podcast made me very happy. Or even if I'm like at a Zara at a local mall and the woman who helped me is Aces, I'll leave a 5-star review. I'm like, you have to go shopping here. You have to, if Michelle's there, it's the best day of your life type of thing. So I love to read reviews for good.
If they're like in all the true crime stories that you've heard or just even like read about on the internet, is there any one particular unsolved crime that bothers you or you wish could be solved or you have any sort of take on that just like leaves you scratching your head?
I feel ones that one that really was like so interesting to me and it kind of was solved, but I feel like there's just like he was such a crazy man. There's probably so much more to him. Like, do you know like the fake Rockefeller guy?
Maybe. What is
He's
this one again?
kind of like, he's sort of, and this is where I get so interested with like how, like
an Anna Delvey kind of thing, or what?
kind of an Anna Delvey.
Okay.
But like pre-Anna Delvey, where he lived like Anna Delvey was just Anna Delvey.
Did he actually have money, or?
Oh, but he was so good at faking it. He had 7 different names.
Well, everyone does that now, I guess.
Everyone, yeah. And but it was even before you could like go to Kinko's and make a new name for you. Like
he
just
was
print a name.
talented at this.
He was talented, and so much so he went to New York, one of his final stops, and like told everybody he was related to the Rockefeller family, which for any person like Rockefeller
Like they
Center.
could Google it and prove him wrong. They're like, okay, well, why would you make that up? But
yeah, and it's like,
sometimes people make shit up.
and it's so good too, where it's like to fool rich aristocrats, you don't want to say to someone, "Oh, I'm one of the Rockefellers," and them to be like, "I don't think you're a Rockefeller," because it's like, oh, you don't know.
It's like
the
Leo
Rockefeller
DiCaprio on the
families.
Titanic. It's like, yeah, I'm one of you guys.
Exactly. It's like, oh yes, you are.
Till it's
yeah.
time for a lifeboat, and you're like,
Oh, sort of class. That's why I don't go on cruises. I don't trust a cruise. No.
You know, there's not enough lifeboats still.
No. And like
There's no plans on that thing sinking. They're like, that was one time.
that. Wait,
The Titanic. Yeah.
I'm assuming you're not a cruise person.
Honestly, I've never been.
I've never been on
cruise.
one either.
Really? I mean, I would go, but it's not. I'm not craving it.
No.
And you have those people who are like, "No, you should definitely go on a cruise." I was like, "Man, I've been to Vegas in a building that I never left. I'm pretty sure I've been on a cruise."
That kind of, oh my God,
Isn't it the same thing? You're just like,
is true.
maybe getting seasick,
And I'm going
and
to
more
Vegas in a
trapped.
few weeks, and I feel like that will be my cruise time. Yeah.
It might be fun though. I mean, please report back as someone who's never been on one. You say you're going on one?
No, I'm going to Vegas, not a cruise.
Okay, but you've been to Vegas before.
I've been to Vegas once before.
Only once.
Only once. So it's my second time.
Okay. Well, good luck.
I will try. It's for BravoCon, so it'll be.
Oh, damn. That'll probably be fun, actually.
That'll be very fun.
That's going to be wild,
It's going to be
I would think.
psychotic. Yes.
Jeez.
And unfortunately, the overlap of the criminal Jen Shaw, she will not be there because she's in prison with Elizabeth Holmes.
Oh, my God. You were mentioning that in text, too.
That's-
What are your thoughts on this?
It's so and this is why it is interesting too when we'll talk, because me and Sarah, we talk because we watch reality TV. Sometimes it comes up a lot in some of the scam and more like financial crimes we talk about, because so much of it interlaps with like narcissism and like those tendencies to be convincing and things are not and everything. So Jen Shaw, she just is like, was just such a person who thought she was so good at breaking the law that she could go on reality TV and not get caught.
Yeah, she just completely had fooled herself into like, do you realize what this looks like?
Yes. And then she's like, why is everyone mad at me?
Like, what do you mean?
And it just is it's so chef's kiss that she's in the same place as Elizabeth Holmes and they're friends. Because like people would probably think like, what is this like CEO trying to fake out and this Real Housewife have in common? They both think they're the best person in the entire world.
Yes.
So yeah, they'll talk.
The voice of Elizabeth Holmes is like the way she kind of seemingly changed it is totally
I know.
bizarre.
It's so impressive. I feel
It's
like
so hot.
she should have. I feel she could have like gone into like opera singing too.
I mean,
Because like that range is very impressive.
I don't even know if I could do that. Like,
I can't. No.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of did a little bit.
No, I can't like no.
Yeah, you couldn't like talk about science and do that
I can't.
for like ever.
No, I cannot. I know nothing about science or masculine vocal cords, so I'm very bad at all. I'm very bad at both of them.
You don't have a degree and you don't know how vocal cords work? Does anyone know how they work? No, just that one doctor who does that does. So when I got into true crime, which I hate even saying that, because I mean, for a lot of reasons, but Up and Vanish was my first podcast. It came out in 2016, and that was right after Serial had that big moment and kind of introduced all of us to just the magnitude of true crime storytelling in a podcast
and
format.
podcasting as a whole
and it's
thing,
like it's like the holy grail. But I was, at that time I was inspired by Serial. I had watched The Jinx on HBO, amazing. Also watched Making a Murderer, and that was a huge thing.
Yes.
And so I want to talk about Making a Murderer for a second.
Ooh.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
Stephen Avery.
Yes.
What do you think? Do you think he did it or not?
I feel it's a hard thing where I am so susceptible to everything, and I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. It depends on like I'll read like one Reddit thread or something, and I'm like, well, fuck.
You're like, well, there it is.
Yeah, there it is.
And the guy's just lying, and you're like,
yeah, no. And then I like click on the link, and I'm like, it's like a little spam bot. I feel he did.
absolutely, yes.
Yes.
I think he 100% did, because who else did it? Now, the thing is like, did the police plant evidence? Probably, absolutely, yes.
I also, that's the thing where it's a
100%.
People get
They're like, we're getting this guy no matter what, and we don't give a shit. I'm not saying that's cool.
Yeah, and I'm also
but he
going to
definitely
spoiler
did
alert,
that shit.
That happens a lot.
It's weird only because he did do it, and the cops were fucking shady.
Yeah, and also
That's why it's weird.
That's most times it's like Taylor Swift once said both of these things can be true. Most times like someone did something and the cops are shady.
Sometimes it isn't what it looks like,
Yeah.
but it usually is.
Yeah. And it is funny because like talking about documentaries, it's crazy how now I feel every story is like ping-ponged between like a podcast series and then it becomes a Netflix documentary. Then there's a Netflix documentary podcast about it, everything like that.
Yeah.
Where I feel for a while podcast was catching up to like the documentarians. And it's interesting
Right,
where
but
you
now
started.
it's sort of like
now it's a
universe that it all lives in.
Yeah.
It's changed so much. Like, I got so much shit for, and I'll even say rightfully so, for being some guy who's raising his hand saying, I don't know what I'm doing. I probably shouldn't be doing this, but I'm doing it anyway. But I did do it and completed the loop. And I do feel a little strange about some other people out there doing it. Not saying that I am in any way special or better. I just know how difficult it was and is, and all the things that come with it that you might not pick up on by just listening to my show. And so I feel like, you know, I don't want to feel like I've, you know, led someone down some path that's like, hey, like, you don't know what it's really like though. Like, you might not want to do this.
Yeah. And it's also really interesting too, because I feel because like it was just podcasting for so long, and now that there's all these big booms of documentaries and stuff coming out, and now there's a lot of like higher profile people who don't do anything remotely involved with any of that stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
I want to check, and I don't really care how I get it or the quality of what comes out. I just want to do it.
This guy did it.
Yeah. And they're like, they're like, I'm an A-list star, so I can just put my name on something, hodgepodge something all together.
We've learned that does not work.
It doesn't work, but it keeps
Except for the show that we have with Kim K, because she did absolutely crush it, and she is dope, and she's smart as hell about it, and actually gives a shit.
Research and things like that. Yes,
Yeah, like she's not just trying to look good. She really is like in this and is an advocate and knows this case.
That's what I do. And I feel like because there was such an anti-Kardashians for a while, and I obviously get why. I feel Kim is on her way back to kind of being more.
If you don't like Kim K, you're just a hater.
That's a thing.
It's like,
And you haven't tried her sweaters.
because there's so many things you could say, because her life just looks so much cooler than yours, and
Yeah.
she's actually talented, and you wish that she wasn't.
And it's
You're
also
being a hater.
And it's also the funny thing too, where people, and it's kind of what you were saying, where people see what you do and they want to do it. I'm like, it's like, yeah, her life seems magical. I'm like, oh, it fucking sucks too.
You know how many other rich people there are that don't do anything?
Yeah. Or they do things that are just like, specifically their richness comes from making other people's lives more miserable in hell, where it's like,
She
she's
could be
doing all
way
this
shitty, but she's not.
Yeah.
Right?
And she could be like, oh, I want to like, she could bulldoze over like community centers to build like Skims pop-ups or something like that. Cause that's like what rich people do. It's like the Grove in LA. I'm like, that guy almost fucking became mayor there. So like there's a lot of rich people that are pieces of shit, where it's like, she just wants you to maybe buy a sweater, and like she's helping people with like prison reform and trying. And cause that was the thing, everyone made fun of her for doing like the law school route and like studying for like the baby bar and everything. It's like, she's fucking trying.
Yeah. I bet everyone who laughed could never even do it themselves.
No, I don't even.
I couldn't do it.
No, I could not.
I didn't even finish college.
That's
not because I didn't want to, because I couldn't.
You made the right choice. Like, I mean, college was fun.
In hindsight, like, I'm like, thank God I didn't do that. That was a waste. That would have been a waste of time.
Because I'm like, I pay how much money a month in student loans because I like went to keg parties and made friends and like barely did homework. Like it was rough. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Do you actually, Mike? Do you mind trying to pull up? Remember that Reddit comment I showed you in the radio rental thread that was kind of perverted about me? You know what I'm talking about? Can you try to find that?
I'm so intrigued
It's
now.
it's very funny. But like you mentioned something earlier about like just seeing something on Reddit and being like, oh wow, that's true, right? So do you go on Reddit
I have.
sometimes, or
Sarah has gotten me down Reddit spirals because she kept on.
he's got me down it
Yeah,
too.
okay, there's always a person. It's always kind of like the
Slippery
gateway
slope,
Redditor.
though. Slippery slope.
Yes,
Yeah.
because first she would just be like, oh, you need to read this thread. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, at first I'd literally be like, I don't even know how this works. I'm like,
Yeah, you're like, this is for nerds.
yeah. And now I have the app.
And now you're like, yeah, exactly.
And now, like, if it's also the thing too, like if I'm looking for like reviews of something before I buy it,
Yes.
I type Reddit at the end of it.
Not a bad place to look for that.
That's actually, there is, because that's the thing. For every like 5 great Reddit threads, there's like 25,000 bad ones. And then you never know which one is which category, but it does occupy my time a lot.
This is going to sound really silly, and it's not an ad for anything, but I got COVID again recently. I was like, I felt a little weird. I was like, surely not. And I had one test left over from the year ago that I had COVID, I guess, last time. And I'm like, let's just see. And I'm like, bullshit. Really? And I was going to Alaska 4 days later. I was like, I need to kill this thing. And I remember seeing all these dumb commercials on TV for this drug called Paxlovid.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, whatever. And so I was like, so I just Googled, like, how do you get Paxlovid? And I ended up on this app. And 30 minutes later, I was talking to this lady who prescribed it. And I swear to God, in 24 hours, it went away. But the first thing I did, I went to Reddit. I was like, all right, what's up with this thing? And everyone's like, guys, I'm not going to lie. It's kind of crazy. It works.
And Reddit is a place they love to bullshit on things.
They would totally call it out if they didn't. So if you get COVID,
go to Reddit.
Get Paxlovid. I hate that I just said that. But also, no one wants COVID for more than a day.
No.
Or an hour. Yeah.
Well, because also now, because we're at a point in society where, because it used to be like, oh my God, you have COVID, like take as much time off work if you need or anything like that. And now everyone's like,
like, it's not as bad, dude. What? Come on. Let's
yeah,
go.
like, come to work. And you're like, no, but
Flu is bad.
I
you
still
need
actually
to get
feel
your
like
ass to
shit.
work. And you're like, fuck, you're right.
I just got my BOGO deal on the shot, flu and booster.
Yeah. It's still a pretty good excuse, though.
Yeah.
It's like, because it's, it's a little more, it's like, oh, COVID. Okay. Well, but it's wearing thin, though.
That's where you got to save the time you get it or the time you want to, because you're like, I can't go out.
Yeah. Also, like, you can't fuck around and get COVID like shortly after that and actually have it. Like, I got it again.
Like,
no.
I'm a medical marvel.
And you cannot post anything on social media.
No. It's hard.
You cannot be with a bar. Did you find it? I cannot find it. Okay, I will try to find this. He goes, also his username is Macaulay Culkin. I'm pretty sure it's not the real one.
You don't know though.
If it is, he gets a pass.
Okay.
But also, fuck off. He says, Payne Lindsey has an alt Reddit account where he shares pics of himself stretching his wiener out. Super weird dude, ... And so my first thought was like, stretching my wiener out.
I was
like,
going to say,
what are you even talking about?
I don't know.
I don't have to stretch it out. No, but I was like, stretching it out. I mean,
because that's not fun for you.
But like, where are they doing? I mean, I'm sure they're doing it somewhere.
I guess
like
so.
Stretching it out, like that doesn't even make sense.
It's like a fruit by the foot. Yeah.
And then this guy goes, "Can a man not stretch his wiener on the internet? It's important to have hobbies." And then
Macaulay
Culkin says, "Yeah, man, he's stretching his wiener out. He posted on this sub a month ago, and I asked him about it, and he refused to answer." And this person goes, "How do you know it's even him?" And then he says, he had a verification photo, and it was his face and cock, and there was a bunch of radio rental stuff and stuff from his other works and memorabilia in the background. I'm like, this guy's just literally making this shit up. And this person goes, "I'm just so floored right now." I mean, to each their own, obviously, but wow. Next person goes, "I am sick. What the fuck? Please elaborate on how you attempted to call him out." And I was like, all right, I shouldn't say anything. I should stay out of this. And so I just like got pissed and probably like yelled into a pillow and said, fuck it. Then he went at it again and like saying the same thing. I was like, all right, dude, like
we gotta
check this out. I'm going to say something. Also, like, I made this subreddit and you're no longer a part of it. So
Good. Yeah, you're like, you can't come to my house anymore.
But it was so annoying that people were like, what? No way. I'm like, it's not true, obviously.
Because
I don't stretch it out. I lay it out.
You're a gentleman.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, guys, just so you know, like from the waist down, it's laid out on the couch right
Yeah,
now.
like it's very, it
has its own pillow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's not
You're
all
a gentleman.
as perverted as you're picturing it.
I'm also like, because my thing, the reason I feel like everyone should always lie, because I immediately went to, I was like, how would you pose with your face, stretched out penis, and all your stuff in the back?
Like, how bad do I
You would
want
have
to
to be
cancel
doing
myself,
like, you would have
right?
to be doing like sun salutation or like something like that, or like a V stretch.
It's like, cool. Like, I don't want to do my career anymore. This is the way I want to go out.
I also would be, the main reason I would only be mad at you for doing that on Reddit, because I would just call you immediately and say like
dude, you missed the OnlyFans opportunity.
yeah, I'd be like, I thought you were a businessman.
It's like, if I'm going to start doing that, then like we're going to monetize this shit.
$6.99.
Obviously,
Come
like,
on.
you know, fuck, $5, $10.
And you could be like, if you
someone's going to pay something.
If you can stretch your wallets to the top tier, I'll stretch my penis for as long as you need.
Right. I mean, if it's enough money, I mean, I don't know.
I get a doctor on
I'm
the
going
call.
to try to find where, like, how do you, Reddit app is kind of annoying here. I'm trying to find my own, like, comments that I've made.
Did you reply to him on there or no?
I eventually did, yes.
Yeah.
I need to find it now.
That's also such a funny lie to say to, because I'm like, what
it
is that?
is hilarious.
Because I'm like, how does that, because if I saw that about like someone that I like listen to, or I'm like,
it sounds right. It's like, it's too specific.
yeah, it's the thing. It's so specific. I'm like confused. I'm also like, okay, that's what he does. I don't know if it's the New York in me. I'm like, all you're saying is he stretches out his penis?
I was like, all right, what the fuck is he
I'm
talking
like,
about?
ride the 2 train, babe. I don't know what to tell you.
It was only really annoying when I saw people going, wow, I can't believe him. I'm like, this person is blindly believing this? I was like, I can't just sit here and let that happen.
But now I wonder if I read that, I wonder if I would have thought, damn, pain's in pain.
It's right.
I would send
It's
you
like,
some.
where is it? I can't find it.
I'm like DMing.
Dude, I think you must have deleted it. Can you send it over?
Or I'd be like a lighting tip, cue it up, or I just like do whatever you do. Don't put it next to our TV remote.
Everyone knows you don't show your face in those things.
Never show your face.
Come
and B,
on.
come on. Yeah, exactly. And B, never put it next to like a thing for like size comparison, because that just is always so embarrassing.
Yeah. Also, it no matter what you're doing, it looks gross. Like,
yeah.
Cool, like that's the body wash you use. Like, that's gross.
The bot is no, because I'm like, you have a
it's like,
4-in-1,
or like cool, really old remote.
I mean, now if you're doing it next to the Apple TV remote, hey, it's the motion of the ocean, but they're not big anymore. Yeah.
Okay, so he was back at it again a couple days ago.
Oh,
and he
shoot.
caught me in the wrong mood. I was like, So he said again, just to a new post in the same subreddit. This is Macaulay Culkin again. Too bad Payne Lindsey has a weird alt Reddit account where he'd stretch out his penis for upvotes. Really strange, dude. And again, someone goes, what? And then he elaborated. He has an alternate Reddit account.
I like that he spelled out alternate.
Yeah, filled with posts of him stretching his soft penis out. I called him out in this sub, and he deleted the alt account immediately. He probably has a new one by now, though. So I was like, all right. I'm pretty sure I was driving and I just pulled over. I was like, you know what?
I got time.
I go, I do have time.
Yeah.
I said, shut the fuck up, you creepy fuck. LOL. I've checked out your Reddit profile, and every other post you make is, in fact, about a penis. And it is strangely true. But like, he's saying other weird stuff about other people, like in this vein. Like, not this specific, but like other shit like this. I said, blocking your ass from this group, LOL.
Yeah.
And so I blocked him. And, you know, I don't want the truth to get out like that.
No,
You know?
no. You just have to be a big reveal. A coming out ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it called? A debutante.
Yeah. It's like, come on, man. If that's the way, that's not how I'd go out, you know?
No. And also, that is, because this is a funny thing, you wouldn't even get in trouble for that. That's not doing anything that's weird or a choice.
Yeah. People might have a
Well, it depends
really,
on like Reddit it's on.
it might offend some people,
Yeah.
but some people are not going to be offended.
No.
And they'll probably subscribe.
I would say, do you, boo? Yes. I'd
Right,
say, good for
exactly.
you.
I'm kind of like, aren't we past that? Like, who
Yeah.
cares? Like, I mean, it would be a little strange that I mean, I don't think it would work for my vibe over here as a true crime podcaster, investigator. You know,
That'd be the hard.
You can't wear both hats.
Now just like a stretched out little top hat on your stretched out penis. Yeah, no, that'd be very hard. Well, I would just say you would just need to do other things that would be less painful.
Have you ever, maybe this is just like a stupid thought that I've had, but have you ever thought about like if this was in a bubble as an experiment, how fast do you think you could cancel yourself?
Oh, with milliseconds.
Like right now you could do it.
Just like all the thoughts in my head.
Do it in a tweet? Like just a simple transmission?
Yeah.
Or you call it an X now?
I don't even
or
know.
Xing, or I don't.
Oh, I don't know what it is. I get it. Well, it's like how Meta is Facebook now, all that stuff. So you just pick whatever new platform to cancel yourself off.
Yeah.
Because it's both.
But about efficiency here. If you were trying to do it the fastest.
Oh.
You don't have to go into what you would do because you're starting.
I'm like, well, what I would.
But you know the realm of things that you could.
I feel Twitter is probably the best mode for that.
I think so too.
Yes.
And
TikTok, I don't know
whatever
how to
you
search
say, like you say, and I mean that,
and
like
I mean
that.
Wait, but what would what would be worse, getting canceled from that, or like you do that, you're like, well, it's over, 2 likes.
Yeah.
You're like, oh.
Then you're like, whatever. Then you become super successful, and then 10 years later, someone's like, dude, look what he said.
That's they're like, let me save that.
Yeah, you come back to bite you, but you be good for now.
Yeah,
we're not ready to kill you yet.
Oh, good.
And I'm not trying to be all I don't give a shit about. I'm just saying, like,
well,
it's funny that you know what I'm saying.
No, exactly.
That, like, you could fuck up and say some shit, and like,
because I'm
you wouldn't, but
dumb,
you could,
and it could.
It's like, if you wanted to.
I feel if anybody just had their stream of consciousness be out of their brain, everyone would just be like, "What the fuck?" They would just say, "Like, I just want to not be around you because you're something is wrong with you."
I thought you were better than this.
Yeah. And you're like, "Nah, I'm DiGiorno."
You're like, "No, I'm sorry. This is why I keep it all up here." Yeah.
No, it's safe up there in the bubbles. Introverted.
It is. Yeah. Some people just are not as good at that, I guess.
Yeah. Well, it is interesting because like I feel Doja Cat's really trying to cancel herself. But
I feel like she is uncancelable.
I think that's kind of what that is.
Is she just too cool? I mean, she could definitely say some messed up shit and get people upset. Yeah. But like, has she done that? I don't really follow her.
She's
I guess
done a few things, but I feel like also
what vein? Like she offensive stuff or what?
Yeah, well, because she had the offensive things like the chat room she used to be in, and I think because that was the foundation of it. And then recently, I don't know the person who she wore on her shirt. Did you see? Or like, but it was like some like controversial person on a shirt, and she like posts a selfie of the person, and any person who knows this person knows that they're controversial. I was like, I don't know who the fuck is on her shirt. So she's doing a lot of things where it's almost like she's like feeding the beast of it, almost so much where she does something every day.
Where it's almost, like, it's not an anomaly. It's just like constantly. It's like Trump is always Trump.
Arrested, yes.
Yeah, so always.
Like, well, now it's just like...
Always. And you're like, it's like nothing surprises you.
Yeah.
And you could... That's probably one person you could read anything about on the internet and be like, that's probably true.
That, if he was
and it probably is.
Yeah. I'd be like, he's just
like the one
enough.
exception where it's like, that's true too.
Or I'd be like, I actually think they're not embellishing enough. I think they're holding something back.
Yeah, that's just the tip of the iceberg there. Yeah.
Literally.
There's more to that. Yeah. It's funny because... I did a Up and Vanished TV series a couple years after on Oxygen, and one of the things that they made me do before the show came out, which I was like, this was like a requirement, but I was like, that's fine. I was like, I'm gonna be good. They're like, we need they hired some third party company to go look at all the social media posts I've ever made and make sure there was not something like.
So that could go out, yeah.
Goofy in there. And I was like, I'm good.
You're good. Mm-hmm.
There was like one thing from like 2008, and it's not as bad. I'm not even going to say what it is, but I was like, oh yeah, that could be perceived that way. I was like, did I even tweet that? Did I tweet that? But I also I know that I'm good now because I was like, it was one thing.
You got cleaned.
Yeah.
You got NBCU'd. Yeah.
Someone's going to go try to find it. Nah, we scrubbed that shit. It was so hilarious of how confident I was. I was like, I'm a good person. Come on.
Like, I'll do this in front
of you. I
was
like, oh, okay. And what's funny, and I'm not even making this up, It was related to sports. It was related.
Oh,
This was back when I was
See?
emotional about it, and I had to drop it. It's not good for you.
No, that's what you should never feel too emotionally tied to anything.
Really, honestly.
Honestly, no attachments really is a perfect way to get through life.
I wanted to ask you something because you are being a comedian is basically part of your job.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find it more difficult not being funny? No, I was.
I'm like, what if I was like, when I do my
Don't actually answer that. I was like, will he think that's funny? You didn't, so fuck.
No, I wasn't, because it's like there's half the times you're performing for people who don't think you're funny and like hate you, and that's actually the more fun times.
You think so?
Because it's like just enjoyable. Because it's like enjoyable to yourself, where you're like, well, why am I doing this? I was like, well, it's maybe so to make myself laugh. So I just kind of go from that.
Yeah, I think that's honestly probably a good method.
And then
if
also
you're making yourself laugh, you're having fun, and you're probably funnier actually.
And to your point, or to what we were talking about earlier, where I'm like, oh yeah, I go into everyone like, oh, no one will think. I'm like, whatever. I'm just like here. What can I do to have like? There's like, I don't know if you've ever seen like that Mariah Carey viral TikTok sound where she's like drunk on a stage and she's like, I'm gonna do the best I can with what I got.
Yeah,
that's how I wake up every day.
Which is just a vibe.
It's just a vibe. So that's
every damn day, man.
I'm just trying to do what I'm doing.
Have you ever done stand up?
Yeah.
That sounds terrifying, but also exciting. And I mean, I want to one day do that just for my own sake and fun. Mm-hmm. And probably bomb and be scared. But like, I admire anyone who gets on the stage and just is being funny. And like, that's not fucking easy.
That's the thing. It's a lot of fun at times because you sort of just like lose yourself. And I'm very much off the cuff. Like, I don't like to write stuff out. And I love, because it's like a pressure cooker almost. Because it's like, okay, well, you're out there and you're on there, and it's not, you're like, okay, we cut for a second, where it's like, no, you literally are in real time. So it makes that adrenaline rush go, which is really, really enjoyable. But there is also the parts of it that I do it less now, because the parts of it where it's like kind of like anything else, where you need to work so much at it.
Yeah,
to be,
it really truly is a craft.
Yeah, to be like somewhat okay at it, like not even to be like good or great at it, and like not even to make money, just like not be embarrassing yourself. You need to do it like so many times a week, so many times a night and everything, where I'm just like, oh, I got like, it was more like after the pandemic where I was like, I forgot how to like go out. And that was one of the things where I was like, I need to like now remember how to go to dinner, and then on top of that, do that. Yeah,
like I gotta like have manners again.
Yeah, I was like, let me take a step back.
Do you have any like current favorite comedians or anything?
Ooh, who am I obsessed? Well, I'm obsessed with Z-Way. She's less of a stand-up, but like she's like an interviewer who is just really, really fucking funny. And I feel she's a really good example of someone who like did something that not a lot of other people were doing, and just very much her. Okay.
What's her name again?
Z-Way. She had a show on Showtime.
I'll check her out.
Really
funny?
Fucking funny. Like, very hysterical. Love her. And I also do like kind of on the flip side of her, Jared Freed. Do you know?
Maybe. It sounds familiar. I probably would know the face.
He shouts at sports sometimes too. So
does he?
He's so that
sport ball.
He shouts at sports and The Bachelor. So he has layers and levels to him, and he's just like a hysterical guy. And I like his humor because it's very like self-deprecating and very.
To me, that's my favorite.
It's my favorite thing because it's also it's funny where people kind
relatable too.
Where they get so worried and people are like, what can I laugh? What can I make fun of anymore? Everyone wants to.
It's like, well, you're pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, or like that's where like I'll see like a guy who's 40. It's like, well, now I can't joke about anything. I'm like, you have a receding hairline. Use that. Yeah. I'm like, go with that. You think those pants fit you properly? Go with that. Like, you actually have hours of
I have so many jokes for you, right?
I'm like, if you want me to write them for you, like we can go at it. Like, I'm sure your wife, who you somehow have, would love to add some jokes to that.
And your escorts, like.
Oh, they have the memoirs, I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you watch a lot of reality TV. Have you ever watched Love Is Blind?
You know, I'm not caught up. I watched that a little bit delayed.
Or have you ever just finished a season of it?
Yeah.
Do you not think that we've conclusively figured out that love is not blind?
Love is not. Because you know what?
Turns out love is not blind.
Because I, as someone who yo-yo diets all the time, if we really want love to be blind, how does everyone in that pot on those pots have abs?
Why is everyone hot?
We need some people.
Every single person is hot.
If we really want to prove the test of what this show's all about.
You need to throw in some randos in there, some scary people or something, right? Like, make it interesting.
Make it interesting. Not how is everybody, because I also know it's like a TV show, so like they get casted from agents. I'm like, they gotta expand the reach a little bit. Just kind of like with like all dating shows. We have to make it more realistic to the levels of people that are out and about right now.
The Bachelorette kills me because every single dude, they're like the only guys in the world who look like them.
Yes.
Like they're like either there's only so many of them, and they're all on The Bachelor or Bachelorette and they're about to be
The Bachelor. Yeah, exactly.
like that's the only like they like go find them. Like you'll see one, oh, that would be one, but like every once in a while, it's not a common look.
Between. And that's where I feel if it was more regular looking people, I think it would also help people.
It'd be a more fun show.
Yeah, because then I'm like, oh, they have personalities.
Yeah,
or it's kind of like I would feel more related to like watching someone like have a sweat stain on a date because I'm like, that's me. Like I would just kind of feel more at home.
Yeah, no one's ever talking about anything interesting either.
No.
It's always some bullshit.
And it feels so, because then it's also because they're so very like Barbie Ken-ish with it. Because like still with The Bachelor where it's like, they're like, about sex. When it's like, that's kind of a part of dating too. Where you kind of like, where they beat around it so much. Where I feel if it was people that just more looked, it's like, yeah, like let's see how we flop together type of stuff.
And what's crazy is just the fairy tale presentation, and there at the end, essentially what happens is, I mean, at least sometimes this guy has sex with like 3 girls, but it's this very romantic thing. Only on The Bachelor are you doing that, and not pissing
also with them all knowing about it,
right? Because that's like, hey, like I'm trying to find love. Good luck doing. You can't do that shit in real life.
No, and it's
like fake permission to be kind of a shitty.
I'm in support of everyone having a roster for the first 2-3 months of dating.
Oh yeah, you gotta like look around, but
but then when you find it, when it's your final rose, you shouldn't need to be like
not with like 3 girls who want to marry you.
No, that's the hard
insane
part.
sound.
Yeah,
what are you like talking about?
I love you so much. What's your ring size? I'm gonna go fuck in the other room.
He's like, well, I'm already here, so
it's funny how they should really make that more of like a polyamorous show, because that would end up in a whole different fun vibe.
What are they? I mean, I guess I do know what they're afraid of. I mean,
executives and advertisers.
Well, you're right. Who would ever oppose? I forget sometimes that people are so charged by that shit. Then I'm constantly reminded, and I'm like, oh yeah, like what the fuck? Like,
if you had average looking people dating to be in a poly relationship, I would watch the hell out of that.
If it isn't like what a dating app is in real life, then it's bullshit.
When I lived in Brooklyn, yes, that was exactly
right. If it's not like that was Hinge, then it's a lie.
That's why I'm obsessed with The Golden Bachelor, because it feels a little more sincere-ish.
So yeah, I watched the first episode, and I'm like, this is gonna be good.
It's gonna be so good.
This is gonna be interesting.
And it is funny because I feel this maybe is more so just like for coastal cities. I'm thinking, I'm shocked that and I guess also it's the same reason for ABC. I really thought there'd be like some younger girls for the guy, because I am used to seeing May-December relationships a lot more, where I'm kind of like, there's not one 30-year-old who's looking for the sexy guy.
Because I'm not. Is he rich though?
He looks.
I mean,
rich.
he's got a IRA or something.
Yeah,
he's got retirement.
And nothing to spend it on. Yeah,
but he probably lives a simple life.
Yeah.
But like, he's not like I don't know.
That would have to be filmed, I guess, at the Ritz-Carlton. Because whenever I go to a hotel bar, I'm just always looking. I'm like, what is happening here?
I want to see if you do something with me here. And in the spirit of all of your silly videos of the drink that you had last night, or the one that's calling your name at brunch, I have a little mini bar in here.
Ooh.
Could we whip something up real quick and just do a little toast?
Yes.
Okay, cool. The options are probably very limited, but we'll figure it out.
I love it.
Let's see what we got. It's probably bad wine or hard whiskey. Let's see.
Well, I'm easy. I don't drink, so
You don't?
No.
Well, then don't drink with me then.
Oh, I thought, they don't have any mixers there? I would just cheers to you. I'm Irish Catholic. I'll raise a glass for you.
Okay, then we'll do that then.
Yeah.
So what are we cheersing to?
We are cheersing. You know what? I feel we gotta I want to almost raise a glass to stretching out your heart, your soul, and your feet.
You have to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. To stretching out my heart and nothing else.
God bless that.
Woo. Okay. Watch this be like how my OnlyFans starts.
Can I tell you, the hotel room you have set up here, it does give OnlyFans vibe.
Does it? What does that even mean? Like, how does it give OnlyFans vibes?
It's giving decadence, but
like
also
I would
moody.
rent this place out to like shoot stuff in?
Shoot content. Because you have a big window. You have like, it could be as dark or light as you want.
I mean, 100% someone's done that here, right?
I'm assuming I'm sitting on liquid. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's no way that someone has not recently had sex in here.
Yeah. Oh, if you
you don't think about it, but like it's factually has to be true.
It just and also it's like almost the thing like in living in cities. Every time I'm in even like a dressing room or a bathroom, a public bathroom, or even an elevator, I'm standing where there's like I could almost
you can't even escape it.
Yeah, I feel like there's times I'm like fuck, I'm late. Like I don't know, I don't have a period, but I'm like shit, I think something's happening to me.
You're like I haven't had a period yet
in my whole life. Then I'm like fuck, I never did have one. I don't know. I guess I'm not.
You're like I need to go to the doctor.
Yeah, shit. I'm like I sat on the 2 train. I don't know what's going on. Yeah.
It's like you were okay. What day was this? Man, well, this has been a blast, dude. Thank you for coming out. And
oh my God,
I'd love to, whenever is best for you guys to join y'all again on your show at any time. I've always had fun.
Oh my God, you are so much fun, and that's why we want to get you on for like a lighter time.
Yeah, for sure. Like maybe we do like if I keep watching the Golden Bachelor, which I think I might this time. We could do. I mean, I don't know if you guys talk about that stuff, but we could do something like that, or tell me what to watch.
We bring up. Well, we just end up talking about some random shit. So let me tell you, in a few weeks, we might be talking about the Golden Bachelor.
Okay, yeah, and
or just like an old man who could be conning people. So, or a little bit of both.
Okay, right.
Because that's
but not the Golden Bachelor. He's not conning.
I hope so. We'll see.
I mean, that's a scandal.
From ABC to CNN, who knows? Yeah.
They have to heavily research these people.
You think that, but then all the times you see a
There's
bachelor,
always
bachelorette
one slipping
contestant
through who's like, "Wow, that was pretty racist from a long time, from recently."
Yeah, from
like one scroll down.
Yeah, from the Trump era. Yeah, that's what I'm like. They're just like, we didn't know. Like, I feel like they're like, we didn't know the carousels. We never scrolled past to the 4th photo.
Yeah, they're like, nah, it looks good. Yeah,
they're like, she's cute.
Yeah, print it. Let's do it. Yeah. Well, hell yeah, man! This has been a blast, and
thank you.
Yeah, I can't wait to share with the internet that some guy on Reddit said that about my penis.
If well, maybe I'll just do it and say that you do it in aisle 5 of Target.
Yeah, it's like no, he does it, but it's not as bad as it sounds.
No, guys, trust me.
Like it sounds really bad when you read it like that, but really, I promise you, it's not.
Like, it's almost Dadaism. I make it art history.
It's artistic. Yeah. It's not. Yeah, it's tasteful.
Yeah, it's classy.
Well, cheers, man.
Cheers.
Talking to Death is a production of TenderfootTV and iHeart Podcasts, created and hosted by Payne Lindsey. For TenderfootTV, executive producers are Payne Lindsey and Donald Albright. Co-executive producer is Mike Rooney. For iHeart Podcasts, executive producers are Matt Frederick and Alex Williams, with original music by Makeup and Vanity Set. Additional production by Mike Rooney, Dylan Harrington, Sean Nerney, Dayton Cole, and Gustav Wild for Cogito. Production support by Tracy Kaplan, Mara Davis, and Trevor Young. Mixing and mastering by Cooper Skinner and Dayton Cole. Our cover art was created by Rob Sheridan. Check out our website, talkingtodeathpodcast.com.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Talking to Death. This series is released weekly, absolutely free. But if you want ad-free listening and exclusive bonuses, you can subscribe to Tenderfoot Plus on Apple Podcasts or go to tenderfootplus.com.